Okay, so I'm Chef Gary Jones. I've been in the industry for about 45 years, which is, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm a bit of an old goat now. But back in the day, I grew up where my grandfather grew the vegetables, which was just fantastic. My nan cooked. My mum was a great cook as well, and she would take French cookbooks, and she'd be cooking these things for different parties, and she'd put on the best spread in the neighbourhood. And as a young kid, 10 years old, I could see the reaction good food had on people, because it lifts the spirit. It's an amazing thing. So if you can cook well, you can have the best parties. You can have all of those things, and she would make a great spread, you know. So it started from there. There was a little outside catering business at home when I was about 11, 12 years old. I then it was in secondary school, and I saw an advert for a grill chef in a little local restaurant, and I went along, and I was 13 years old, you know. So they wanted me to wash the pots first. Not a problem, I can wash pots. I've been doing that at home since, you know, for many years. So I started off there. I was soon in the kitchen when they knew I could chop onions faster than any of the chefs in the building. So it was a great thing from there. Then on to catering college. I'm from the Wirral Peninsula, which is above North Wales or Chester, and below Liverpool. So a little peninsula there, great place, the northwest. So I went to catering college there, had a ball, finished Thursday, Friday, I'm working in London. So I headed straight away to London to learn to cook and to work with some great people as well. I was in the West End of London, first of all, and then on my days off, I would go to the Waterside Inn to work. Okay, we're looking at the late 80s here, so we're still in the 80s. I went to the Waterside on all my days off, and then a chef de partie job came up at the Waterside Inn, and I thought, you know what I mean, this is a great opportunity. I wanted to go as a commie, but the chef said to me, I've been watching you, you're chef de partie all day. So I was like, wow, what a responsibility. You know, 20 something, 3-star Michelin, and I ended up cooking the fish and the meat in a 3-star, which was just amazing. And that Michelin experience changed my life. So from being a washer-upper to a young chef, then going to the West End and then into the Michelin environment, and I was hooked. From there I was hooked in. From 88, I was hooked into that Michelin thing from there on in, which was fabulous. I loved it, but I also knew there was other places to see, and I had my eye on one place in Great Milton, and I went along and did a cookery trial. My ambition at the Waterside Inn was to become the saucier in a 3-star. The day I got that, I wanted to do it for 1 year. I then secured my job for 1 year in advance at the Manoir. I went and cooked, they gave me the job, they wanted me to start, and I said, no, I've got my dream job, you're going to wait 1 year. So we did, and I started there October 1990. Stayed for 3 years, which was great. I was going to go off to France, and a young lady in the kitchen at the time said, my uncle's looking for somebody to cook. And I said, well, who's that? It happened to be Richard Branson on Necker Island, so I ended up going to Necker Island for a couple of years, cooking for the Hollywood list, which was fabulous. From there, I was snatched to open a resort in the Maldives called Sonny Vafushi. Superb eco Robinson Crusoe Island, which was absolutely superb. But then it was time to come back because I wanted my own Michelin star. That was the only thing in my head. Earn your own Michelin star, go and do it. Can you do it? You know what I mean? So we then came home, and I got a slot in a little place just outside of Bath, Hinton Charterhouse, Homewood Park. And we got our 4th rosette and our Michelin star there with 2 youngsters in the kitchen and myself. We did everything, the bread, the fish, the meat, and that's why it's essential. Everyone tries and covers every part of the kitchen. It's really important stuff. Won a Michelin star, which was great. Then Cliveden team came and said, we want you to come and run this for us. So I ended up in Waldo's restaurant. Again, we won 4 rosettes and a Michelin star very quickly, which was great. And then Raymond came to dinner, and then he lured me back to the Manoir, which was it didn't take much cajoling, a step back to the Manoir, having been away for those 6-year period, and the investment that had been made was incredible. My young daughter, this big den, is now 24 years old, so this is the time frame we're in now. And then I spent the last 23 years leading the team at the Manoir, which has been an epic journey. I loved every minute. And the main thing about that is having the opportunity to guide, mentor and teach some youngsters and some have gone on to win, you know, particularly the graduate awards or the Young Chefs of the Year, National Chefs of the Year. So that was a brilliant chapter. So that has been fabulous, and that's about where we are now. I've now packed that in, and I'm looking for my next venture, which will be coastal, and we're just looking for that location now too. Gary Jones now would say to the youngster Gary Jones, just do exactly the same as you've done now. Work hard, learn as much as you possibly can, and work hard and put everything into it, really, I would say. And also, you know, balance it out as well. Have a sport or a hobby that you can play it off. We hear a lot about mental health issues and all of those things. I think it's important that you have an outlet. You either run, you box, you find your sport, run, box, sport, martial art, swimming, whatever ticks your box, go and do it, and balance that work with a sport or exercise, and meeting with friends and things like that. All of those things, really important. Somebody walks in and says, I want a job, A, that they've walked into the kitchen and knocked on the door and not been afraid to go through the door, I think is an important thing. And that's also down to our industry making kitchens a little bit more welcoming and a little less daunting for the people. So I would say what we're looking for in a young chef is determination, willingness to learn, alertness, agility, all of those things, sharp, switched on with it, trying to get one step ahead in terms of preparation and sharpness and everything else. But those that really look at it as it's a great career. It's a fabulous, fabulous industry to be in. And you just look at the people we've met today, some of these youngsters in there, they're brilliant. They're absolutely superb. They've got one mission: to get better tomorrow than they are today. And that's the thing. And that's why they're here. That's why they've entered these awards, to grow and become better chefs. So what I'm looking for is that determination and the eagerness, and those willing to work and work for their future. That's important, to work for their future, to make sure they have no regrets. Favorite dish to cook, I would say I'm a massive fan of turbot. It is the king of the sea for that reason. And I think whole roasted turbot, you know, on over fire on a barbecue, but marinated up, you know, fennel seeds and different aromatics in there. But I would say cooking a whole fish till it's just on point, till it's just cooked, till it's just translucent in the middle of the fillet. There's a tiny bit of pinkness on the bone, but there's a smoke and fire and crispiness to the outside as well, you know. Maybe a little smoky butter on there, just, you know, fresh citrus at the end. Just simple fire, beautiful product, cooked well and enjoyed with people. You know, a whole fish should be shared, and that's the other thing, part of it, because it's not just the food, it's that people getting together. And that's a great thing, to share that experience, and that's great. But what's happening with these youngsters here now, they're learning those skills that will enable great futures, and that's the thing. It's a brilliant industry, and something we should be encouraging more and more people into the kitchens. But once they're there, look after them, look after the kids. It's important. All the youngsters, the young chefs need our support and mentorship, I would say, to make sure they continue in the industry.